internet, and as always I hope this finds you well. And you may notice a certain costume. We have the rock t-shirt, we have the Les Paul, we have the last dregs of bourbon left over from Christmas. Why do we have all this, you ask? Well, because tonight we're looking at the approach of one of the most, no, in fact I'm going to go out on a limb, I'm going to say the most iconic and possibly influential rock guitarist of all time. Oh yes, it's the pride of Stoke On Trent, it's Slash. Now, of course, if you are familiar with this series, you'll know how all this works. I'll have all the links tabbed in the blog, and I'll link that in the description below. So we're not going to waste too much time talking about the personal history and all the rest of that stuff. For one thing, I'm recording this in the middle of January during a cold snap, wearing a t-shirt. So I'd like to move this on if we could. I'm going to begin by answering the question that has plagued man since, well, not quite time began, but 1988, which is exactly what does Slash play in that flash bit of Sweet Child of Mine. And it's along the, well, no, it's not along the lines of, I've seen enough tabs, and I personally own 3 different transcriptions of this lick, and when I sat down and learnt it myself, I discovered I'd actually been playing it wrong for nigh on 15 years, so sorry about that. Let's settle this controversy once and for all. So it's cocking that up. I may have learned DaVinci Resolve enough to edit that bit out, I may not, we may leave it in just for charm. So what's going on here, this is Slash delving into the E harmonic minor scale. Now for those of you who aren't really sure what the harmonic minor scale is, it's actually not as big a deal as you might have thought. You're probably familiar with the major scale, root, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, back to root an octave higher. If you're not really, you want to pause this video and go and check out the beginner series, because this is going to get a little bit confusing. If you are, then you'll be aware how you can then flatten the 3rd, 6th and 7th to create the natural minor scale. The harmonic minor takes the 7th and puts it back to its natural state. So we've actually only got a flat 3rd and a flat 6th. And for this particular part of the song, the chord sequence that Slash has been playing over, it involves a B7 chord, which has the D sharp in it as its major 3rd. Now that D sharp is the natural 7th. It's the note that makes the harmonic minor a harmonic minor, so that's a big part of his sound. So I'm starting on that D sharp note on the 8th fret of the G, up to the 9th fret. In fact, I'll let you follow the tab along again. I'm just going to play through that slowly. Now what I found the best thing to do to when learning this lick was to break it down into groups of 4 or 5 notes. So, and just get each little bit right before you move on to the next one, so loop over. And my next group would be 4 notes. And you can see there, he's all working off of the B note there. And then you've got this little, and you can hear that, we're taking the same rhythmic motif, and just translating it up the scale a step at a time. Again, that's a nice little phrase. That's sort of a hexatonic phrase. And then slightly odd phrase there. Now I'm going to finger it slightly different to what I tabbed it. I originally tabbed the D sharp here on the 11th fret. I actually come playing it through a few more times. I've discovered it's actually a better I find. If I use my little finger to grab that on the 16th fret B, and then finish off by playing the D natural on the 15th fret and bending up by a tone. So slowly. And now I'm going to attempt it quickly. I make no promises. too much, so I'm not going to go over that too many times. But on the subject of Sweet Child of Mine, if you're watching this, you'll most likely you can already play the riff, but you may never have stopped to think about how it was created. Obviously, it's one of the most iconic single note riffs of all time, and well, it makes a little bit more sense if we look at it from a chord shape point of view. So here's a D chord. If I move that D chord up an octave, I'll come up here. Now, if you start visualizing this chord shape, root on the 12th fret D, 14th fret B, 15th fret on the B, and 14th fret on the high E, then you can start to see how he's come up with that riff. So that's the part over the D chord. Now the next chord is the C add 9, and this note here, the E, is its third. So what Slash does is he moves the start note up to the 14th fret, so that's your E note, boosted up an octave. Third chord of the progression, that's a G. So Slash goes from, well, guess what, a G note. And then we're back to the D again. Just realised I committed the cardinal sin of putting this on the middle pickup. Of course it should be on the neck. So you've got 8 notes in each bar, and 7 of those notes stay the same throughout the entire thing. So there's actually a lot less going on there than you might think, which is something of a hallmark of truly great riffs and licks, I find. Moving on to our next example, and this is taken from one of my favourite solos ever, not just a favourite Slash solo. This is from Mr. Brownstone, and I think this is one of the ones where the band were really firing on all cylinders at this point. And the groove is fantastic, the riff is fantastic. Even Axl's lyrics actually are not too cringy, they make quite a lot of sense. So there we go, and Slash is absolutely on fire on the solo. So what we've got here, and this is sort of brimming over with Slashisms. Now we are more or less in F sharp minor pentatonic. But Slash will regularly add in the G sharp here the second. That's on the 16th fret, and you'll find as well as you go through the whole solo that the flat 5 there from the blues scale, the C note on the 17th fret G, that makes an appearance too. And this particular lick, I'll just slow this down for you. Now, I'm going to show you the concept that if you're one of my students, hello, you'll be familiar with, which is the magic 3 notes. Here they are in this key, 16th fret on the G, 14th and 17th on the B. So next up then, let's try adding a bend in there. Now let's add a pull off between the 17th to 14th frets on the B string. And now let's add in a note that's just begging to be played there, the magic 3 plus 1, 14th fret on the high E. And now let's add in that 16th fret as well. And you can start to see how we've got from this to... So proof positive that even the big boys, you can take a lick as intimidating as this and you can boil it down to its basic elements. The magic 3 notes is an incredibly versatile and incredibly powerful improvisational tool. It's a basic step that you can build on and develop in thousands of different ways. So I'm just going to play through this slowly. So, classic Slashisms, well, we've got this little 3-note pickup phrase, and then we've got this little legato phrase. So we're going from the second, G sharp, hammered up to the A, back to the G sharp, and then down to the F sharp. And that is an absolute, that is a consummate Slashism. That is all over everything he plays, from Appetite to Destruction to now. That's a massive part of his style, and if you want to get a handle on it, it's really, really useful like that. And then he's mixing that up with, and then here he's developed our magic 3 notes in a slightly interesting way, having just played, which is a pretty much tried and tested rock lick. He just tweaks it a little bit, puts the pull off on the E string, and then, because he's slashy can't resist doing a pre-bend, now obviously the original is, there's heaps of wah pedal on there as well, well, logistics prevented me from setting that up, unfortunately. Okay, moving on then. Now, another big part of his playing is motivic development. So basically what you're doing, you're taking an idea and then you're moving it across the fretboard. Again, if you're one of my students, I probably harped on at some length about this as well. There's a great example of this in Paradise City. There's in a few other ones. Well, Patience has got something similar in it as well. And this is really using the A blues scale because they've shifted the tonality up to A for the solo. So that's your initial idea. And then all he's doing is moving it down from the string group, the E and the B, to the G and the B. And then finishing off with a root note here on the 7th fret. And then I couldn't leave without showing the absolutely filthy blues scale run that he puts in, which actually, just looking at my own tablet show, I have put slightly wrong. I put a bend on the 5th fret. Shouldn't be the 5th fret, should be the 3rd. Sorry about that. So make sure you really dig in, pick hard on this one. And if you can, a little pinch harmonic on that. Minor into major 3rd, never hurt anyone. Okay, moving on. Now this is from Paradise City, and this is from the end solo. Now I did the crazy little chromatic bit on one of the 1 minute licks a couple of weeks back. I've been saving this because I think this is an absolute belter of a lick. Now this is interesting because this is a hybrid scale that Slash is using. We're sort of mixing up major and minor pentatonic. We are using a 12 fret box pattern that owes a lot to the G major / E minor pentatonic, but we are using the root, the 2nd, the flat 3rd, the major 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the flat 7, and the root. And what's happening first, in our initial beat, we're playing sextuplets, so we think 1 and a 1 and a. And then on the second beat, we're doing a 5-note group, so I always use the word opportunity to help count that. Opportunity. So put that together. And then what we're doing next is coming down this scale. Sequence in 4s using pull-offs. And coming down to finish off down there. So slowly. Speed in it. There we go. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you learned a little something. I have certainly had a fantastic time revisiting a lot of these solos. Slash was one of my absolute heroes when I got started, even though it was the 90s and you weren't supposed to like them. And one of the reasons I had an Epiphone Les Paul was because of Slash. One of the reasons I bought this old girl actually was because I still had a crush on Slash even in 2006, and I'm happy to say that having revisited him at the end of 2022, I have an even bigger crush on him. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed that. Do please remember to like, share and subscribe. Aha, I remembered to say it. And I will see you next month for the next 80s rock icon that we're doing, which is Van Halen. So I'm going to get some gaffer tape for the strap, I think. That'll also be another t-shirt and spandex one. I hope it's a little bit warmer in February. Right, I'm off to put some extra layers on and drink the rest of this. Your health, Internet, as always. Peace.